gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a sewing class. In fact, today's class is actually a follow-up class for our last week class where we learn how to create patterns for a fitted dress with flounce. So in today's class, we are going to be learning how to cut our dress and how to sew this dress. So if you had not already watched that video tutorial, it's the very last one. Please go ahead and watch it so that you understand all the things we are doing in this class. And if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button now if you have not already done so. If you have any tutorial or anything in mind you want me to teach you, please drop them in the comment section. And if you do enjoy this video, if you love my tutorials, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much. So now let's go over to our class. So the fabric I'll be using for this class is a bridal satin. You can actually use any fabric for this dress, really. Most fabric works very well for it. You will need about 2.5 meters of fabric for this dress. Anyway, it depends on your size as well. Then you will need fusible, a little fusible for the neckline, so that to keep the neckline a bit sturdy. And then you will need a matching zipper. A standard zipper or an invisible zipper will work for it. I don't have a matching zipper, so I'm going to just use black. It's still okay. It's just the hair that will show anyways, so it's not too bad. So these are all the things you will need for this class. And of course you will need your patterns from the last class. Okay, so now let's fold our fabric and then cut them out. Now before you cut, lay your patterns on your fabric correctly. Place all your patterns that are going to be cut on the folded edge of your fabric, and lay the other patterns correctly on your fabric. Now we're ready to start stitching, and the first thing we're going to do is you're going to take your center back pieces, the two of them with the right side facing themselves. You're going to go baste it. I mean, just do a running stitch either with your sewing machine or with your hand needle. You're just going to cover it from the neckline all the way down to the end. We're going to open it later anyways. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and then you're going to join the front and the back shoulder seams. Now for a neat finishing, you go ahead and overlock first before you join the shoulder seam. The front and the back shoulder seam. The center front and the center back shoulder seam. So the next thing we're going to do is for you to take your flounce. We're going to, first of all, to have a very nice finishing, you're going to go overlock your flounce at the edge like that. And then once you finish overlocking it, you're going to fold it very tiny like this, and then you're going to stitch it from one end all the way down to the other end, and then you give it a very good press. Okay, now the next thing will be for us to attach our flounce to our top. So you're just going to take the shoulder, where your shoulder is on your flounce, you're going to attach it to the shoulder of your top. So with the right side of the fabric against the two right sides together, just place this just like this. And then you use your pins to hold them together in place. And then you pin this side all the way down to the end. Then you pin the other side all the way down to the end. Okay, so now you're going to stitch from one end all the way down to this other end. So once you finish joining your flounce to your top, you're going to have something like this. And the next thing will be for us to join the side front and the side back. So you're going to take one of your side front. So you take your side front and then you take your side back, place them together with the right side facing themselves, and then you're going to join them together on the shoulders. When you join them, you're going to open press nicely so that it will lie flat. So I've already done mine for this one. So now we're going to attach this to one of the sides. So make sure you're attaching the side front to the side front here. Okay, should be like this. Good. So this is my side front. So you place them, you look for the shoulder. This is the shoulder here, and this is the shoulder here, and this is my side front. So you place them against it like this. So now you're going to use your pin to hold them together in place on the shoulders. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so you are going to pin this all the way down to the end, and then you're going to go stitch it. Okay, so now you're going to take it to your sewing machine, and then you're going to stitch from one end like this all the way down to the end. Okay, so you try and stitch on your stitch line, your former stitch line where you used in attaching your flounce. Okay, so now you're going to do exactly the same thing for the other side. Now to have a clean finished look, you're going to take this to your overlocking machine, and then you overlock all these raw edges from the beginning to the end. So now you're going to have something like this. Now please, when you iron, please press your seam allowance towards themselves. Let them be facing themselves. It actually stays better that way. It relaxes better that way. Now the next thing for us to do would be for us to join our side seam. So you join your side seam like this, and then you join the other side as well. When you're done, be sure to open press your seam allowance. Okay, so once you're done with this, the next thing you're going to do would be for us to prepare our facing. The first thing we're going to do would be take your fusible, and then you cut your fusible for the neckline, because we are going to iron on the fusible so that the neckline will be a little bit sturdy. So just place it on your fusible pattern, on your fusible like this, and then you cut your fusible out. So you're just going to place it on your neckline like this, and then you go and iron it very nicely. You're going to do exactly the same thing for the back side as well. Now you're going to join the center front facing and the center back facing together at the shoulder. So you take the shoulder, you join them like that, and then you take the other piece, you join them like that, and then you also join them here at the side seam, and then on this other side as well. Be sure to open press them once you finish joining them. So now we're ready to attach our facing to the top. So you're going to take your facing. Now we're going to stitch the neckline first. So you, with the right side of your top against the right side, or right side against the right side, so just place them together like this, and make sure you match your shoulder seams. Okay, so now you're going to go stitch from here, from the back, the center back. You stitch from here all the way down to the other center back side. So when you stitch and when you get to this V point here, this sharp edge, you just leave your needle inside. So you leave your needle inside like that, you raise your presser foot, and then you move this because you want that sharp end. So then you drop it and then you continue stitching. Okay, so now you are going to give your neckline little notches so that your neckline will relax very well. First of all, you're going to notch this V point here. So you snip it all the way down. Be careful not to cut on your thread. Just snip it down. Okay, and then you give it little notches. Just like that. Okay, once you're done notching, just flip it to the right side or the wrong side. It depends on you. We're just going to top stitch. So you move your seam allowance to the part, to the facing part. So move your two seam allowance like this, and then you're going to top stitch. So if I move it like this, I'm going to top stitch on it. You can either top stitch in front or you top stitch on the right side. I usually like to top stitch on the right side so that I can see my stitches very well. Top stitching helps your neckline to relax very well so that your facing will not be peeping out. Okay, so now you're going to take it to the ironing board, and then you're going to iron your neckline very well. So press it very flat so that it will relax well. Now once you're done with the neckline, the next thing will be for us to finish off the armhole. So we need to stitch it in a way that the seam allowance will be inside. So it's very easy. You're just going to take okay, this is my underarm here. So you're just going to take it from inside. So you flip it to the wrong side, just like this. You turn it nicely, and then you use your pin to hold them together, your facing and your top. Hold them together at the underarm. Make sure your seams are matching. Okay, now you walk it down like that. You keep pinning it down until you're not able to pin it again. Now when you get to the shoulder seams like this, just pull it a little bit, and then make sure the shoulder seams are matching as well. It's a little bit tricky, but yeah, you can do it. So just make sure your shoulder seams are matching like this, and use your pins to hold them together in place. Okay, so you can still pull it out a little bit. So now you're going to go and stitch. Now I advise that you start stitching from the shoulder side is really important, because the shoulder side is more narrower, so, and the underarm is wider. You have a lot of room on the underarm, so I suggest you start stitching from here, somewhere around the shoulder. Okay, this is my shoulder seam, so I'm going to start stitching somewhere from here, and then I'm going to stitch it all the way down to my underarm here, and I'm going to stop and flip it to the other side and continue stitching from there. It's a lot easier that way. Okay, so now you're going to flip it over. Okay, now you see you have a little opening here that you need to stitch, so you just turn it inside and stitch it, so it becomes a lot easier that way. Okay, so you flip it over to see how it looks. Yeah, so it's looking nice and neat. And for it to relax very well, you can notch it on the inside, especially on the underarm. Just give it little notches so that it will relax very well. And just go ahead and press it nicely like that. So I'm done with my armhole, and this is how it looks. I really like it. Nice. So we're going to set this aside. We're almost done with the upper part. Now we're going to focus on the lower skirt. Now for the lower skirt, this is going to be pretty easy and straightforward. We're just going to, first of all, stitch our darts, the front and the back darts, and then we're going to join them at the side seams. So now you're going to join your center back skirt and your center front skirt together. So you place it just like this, with the right side facing themselves, right side against the right side, and then you're going to stitch from the waistline all the way down to the hem, and then you place the other one as well, and then you're going to stitch from the waistline all the way down to the hem. Now you're going to join the upper section and your lower skirt together. So you take the two of them, and then you try to match your seam allowance. First of all, match them very nicely. Okay, so now you're going to go join them from one end all the way down to the other end. Okay, so once you're done, you're not going to take it to your overlocking machine, and then you're going to overlock this seam allowance together so that it will look nice and neat. Now the next thing for you to do would be to close the back. So you're just going to put your seam together, your waist line seam together like this, and then you are going to take your zipper and determine where you want your zipper to get to, depending on the length of your zipper, maybe somewhere here, and then you're just going to go stitch from here all the way down to your vent, your back vent. So you stitch it all the way down like that, and then you're going to leave this part open. Okay, so now you're going to take it to your ironing board and then open press your seam allowance. So once you finish ironing, you're going to have something like this, and then when you iron, be sure to iron your vent, the left side on top of the right side, so that you have something like this, like a closed vent. Yeah, just something like this. Now you already know the next thing to do. The next thing will be for us to install our zipper, either invisible or standard zipper, whichever one you're able to do, and also to finish off our hem. So those are the only two things that are left for us to do. And then, okay, one more thing I quickly say before we round up this class. You see your facing like this. We don't want the facing to be dancing up and down like this. So you want to hold it with the body of your dress. So you can place it nicely like this on the armhole. Just place it like this, and then at the back, yes, you are just going to take the seams like this, and then you just stitch them together inside the seam. Yeah, this one for your dress, and then your facing. So you just stitch them together here, so your facing will not be dancing up and down. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Now tell me the truth, I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe if you have not already done so, and please drop a comment for me so that I'll know what you think. And if you like to make other versions of this dress, like this one you're seeing on your screen, like attaching a flare to the top, or even making it into a jumpsuit, feel free to join my online class. In my online class, I've showed details on how to actually make this dress into other different to make other versions of this dress. So I'll drop the link in the description box below, so feel free to click on it and then join my online class and have access to these other versions of this dress. So thank you so much. I'll see you again in my next class. Bye bye.